cultivated versus spontaneous desire. So what do you mean there?
So when we talk about spontaneous desire, we think about desire as something that just kind of resides naturally inside of us. And sometimes that's true. So maybe for you, for example, desire occurs without a prompt. But sometimes for many of us, and perhaps, for your partner, cultivated desire is what we create. It's what we need in order to get into the mood. So we create it with our thoughts, our words, our actions, our relationship interactions, our fantasies, and most importantly, this is the big one, arousal. What this means is that for cultivated desire, we need to get aroused before we experience desire. So if we're waiting for desire to arise on its own, especially during stressful times, it's probably never going to happen. So you have to do something to get turned on. And then the brain and body remember, oh yeah, I have that desire for sex. That's something that feels good. And the ways in which we cultivate desire via arousal really vary from person to person. Some people want to fantasize. For others, they want to read something sexy or watch something sexy. Some people are audio, others are visual. For some people, it's physical, and they have to actually reach down there and do something, even if they're not in the mood, in order to get themselves in the mood. And so the bottom line is, if you want desire to occur spontaneously, it may never happen.
And don't forget Barry White music.
Is there a situation where if you have more sex, you'll actually start producing more testosterone, therefore you want more sex?
Theoretically, that's possible because, as you know, we have data linking testosterone to sexual functioning and desire, and also to physical activity like sex. So it's possible that having sex can qualify as physical exercises, depending on what you get up to, right? What role you're playing. But what's more important is that when you have sex that's satisfying, it's possible that you'll actually want more because the body becomes awash in these neurotransmitters like dopamine and oxytocin, Barry White music aside. And so these neurotransmitters are linked with pleasure, reward, motivation, and this can drive you to want more. So you may find that if you're having good sex, you want more of it. But then I also just want to add that some people find that the more they have, the more they want. Other people feel that they fill up their tank and they can take a little break after. So what's most important is that you identify your own needs, and if you have a partner, that you communicate with your partner.
All right. Guilty as charged. Should partners schedule sex like Friday night sex night?
It's interesting. When we think about scheduling sex, we often think that it sounds a little bit boring. But here's the thing. Scheduling sex is about building anticipation, building the dopamine. So absolutely, I'm a believer in scheduling sex. And perhaps you secretly schedule sex, meaning you take turns. So let's say you have sex once a week. 1 week, it's one partner's turn to kind of plan and initiate and schedule. And then the next week falls on the other partner. So you can still have some fun with it. And you get the mix of scheduled and spontaneous.
Thank you so much, Dr. Jess.
Thanks so much for having me. And thanks for sharing and opening up. I enjoyed that.
Absolutely. Well, for more tips and tricks on how to get the conversation started, you know exactly where to go, to your bedroom. Now, go to thedoctorstv.com.